Despite what you might have heard about Disney World in the past, this is why you might want to think twice before ditching all vacation plans to the most magical place on Earth. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. So there are a lot of stereotypes about Disney World. Always have been, always will be. Recently, more Disney World stereotypes have bubbled up and become mainstream. So people who've never been to Disney before, or it's been a good long while since they visited, kind of develop a notion of what it'll be like if they were to visit today. Most commonly, you'll hear or read these 4 little words: the magic is gone. The goal of today's video isn't to douse you in toxic positivity. Everyone here on the DFB team is well aware that Disney isn't a perfect place, but I do want to show you how Disney World can still exceed your vacation expectations and keep you immersed in that Disney magic, if you give it a chance. And for those of you for whom I'm preaching to the choir, just sit back, relax, and bask in the magic, I guess. You literally get to travel the world. Where else can you visit 11 different countries in one day? Epcot is home of the World Showcase, which has pavilions that showcase authentic yet sample-sized depictions of the following countries: Mexico, Norway, China, Germany, Italy, America, a little redundant, but that's why it's called the American Adventure Pavilion instead, Japan, Morocco, France, United Kingdom, and Canada. Inside each of these pavilions, you'll find authentic cuisine, souvenirs, drinks, architecture, even cast members that come from each respective country, thanks to Disney's Cultural Representative Program. And the world exploration doesn't have to stop, because you're also going to find 2 other represented overseas destinations in Animal Kingdom, Asia, and Africa, which manage to capture the music and the culture and the wildlife of these locations just as well as Epcot does with their pavilions. Not only is this a great way to do some world traveling minus all the customs and multiple airfare prices, but it's a great opportunity to give the experience of world travel to someone who maybe can't travel overseas. For instance, maybe you have a parent or a grandparent who's always wanted to travel the world but is getting older and can't really do the 10+ hour plane rides anymore, or is a little nervous to walk the cobblestones of Italy, or maybe a little scared to handle the terrain in Switzerland. Or maybe someone in your family is sick and an extended trip overseas just isn't in the cards right now. Maybe you're a young couple who wanted to travel the world, but you've started a family and you don't really think your babies are ready for a major trip to Europe or Asia. Probably won't be ready for that for a good long while. If you've got that wanderlust itch, but life prevents you from scratching it, Epcot can be the gift of exploration minus all the extra obstacles that could come along with an overseas vacation. Disney may not have invented amusement parks, but they have raised the bar on what it means to be a theme park. Even with Disneyland's very first rides, the boundaries of storytelling and technology were pushed beyond what you'd find in most amusement parks at the time. Animatronics, now found in theme parks all over the world and even in restaurants, Rainforest Cafe and Chuck E. Cheese, were originally created for the Enchanted Tiki Room in Disneyland. When the first animatronic figure, Abraham Lincoln, debuted at the 1964 World's Fair, people were stunned at the innovation and technology. The pursuit of innovation is what has kept Disney World as the top theme park year after year in attendance numbers. It's what people think of when they think of theme parks, and that innovation is what people now expect to find even when they're visiting much smaller local amusement parks. That spirit of innovation and creativity continues into 2025 and beyond for Disney, with massive leaps in technology, with new animatronics like the ones we've seen in Tokyo Disney Sea's Fantasy Springs expansion. It's not just the animatronic parts of rides that Disney's creating though, it is the rides themselves. Trackless ride technology is something created by Disney Imagineers, which has completely changed the way we think about dark rides. You're no longer stuck to a track with a single storyline to be experienced. Your ride vehicle can move and even dance seemingly with a mind of its own. You can have multiple different experiences right in that same ride depending on when you ride. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Rise of the Resistance all use this trackless technology to expand on the simpler ride systems like Haunted Mansion or Journey into Imagination with Figment to create something incredible and new that has never been seen before. And Disney Imagineers have reinvented the roller coaster with Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind with what they call an Omni Coaster. This is a coaster that can pivot and direct the rider's attention in a full 360-degree turning radius. And Disney will no doubt push the boundaries again with new rides coming to Disneyland, Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, international parks. They're constantly researching and creating patents for new ride technology to improve storytelling and what we think of when we think of theme park rides. We are always on the lookout for new ride patents from Disney Imagineering. It's something that our team looks at every single morning, and we cannot wait to see what ideas are being thought up for those new Villains Land rides. This, I can promise you, you are bound to find a restaurant or some sort of food to fall in love with. Now, you don't have to eat at Disney World if you don't want to, and we've got that point too coming up later on. But dining at Disney can be so much fun, even if you decide to just budget for one or two of the restaurants on site. Disney World has restaurants that accommodate every sort of palate and entertainment preference. If you want a rowdy and rambunctious buffet character dining experience, you can book a meal at Chef Mickey's inside the Contemporary Resort. Maybe it's not supposed to be rowdy, but it does tend to get a little rowdy. But if you're looking for something more elegant and quiet and date night friendly, you can find California Grill in the exact same hotel. Want to make sure your group is treated like royalty during your Magic Kingdom visit? You can book a reservation at Cinderella's Royal Table or Be Our Guest restaurant or even Akershus over in Epcot. But if you're more than happy paying for a basic chicken strip basket and a side of fries, several of Magic Kingdom's quick service locations can hook you up for under $12. Ready to try some adventurous dining? Don't worry, they got that covered. Epcot's World Showcase is full of international cuisine, some of which maybe you've never even heard of before. But if your group is filled with pickier eaters that maybe don't want to leave their cheeseburger and pizza comfort zone, you can always head over to Sunshine Seasons or Connections Eatery in Epcot instead. You get the picture. If you're someone who's apprehensive about traveling to Disney World because of a certain dietary restriction, Disney has actually received a FAIR, which is Food Allergy Research and Education Award, for dedication to proving a safe and enjoyable dining experience for vacationing families. Food allergies and intolerances can usually be accommodated at restaurants when it comes to gluten, wheat, shellfish, soy, lactose, milk, peanuts, tree nuts, fish, or eggs. If you'd like to learn more about how that process works, we actually have a full page about eating with allergies over on our DFB website. So I'll link that down in the description below for you so you can check it out when you get the chance. The biggest thing to understand is that if you or your kids can't usually vacation someplace because of a dietary restriction, Disney World is probably one of the best places to choose to go because they are so dedicated to making sure that they can create delicious food for anybody. And back in October 2019, Disney announced that every major table and counter service restaurant in both Disney World and Disneyland Resort would offer plant-based options on every single menu. Today, you can find over 400 plant-based dishes throughout Disney World made with no animal meat, dairy, eggs, or honey. And there are so many options, but once again, maybe we've run into the same concern we've addressed before. Are there too many restaurants? Is it too overwhelming to plan dining around Disney World? Well, it is overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. There are a lot of restaurants to comb through and figure out, are these actually good or did someone just say they were good? Doesn't have to be overwhelming though, because the DFB team and I, it's our job to do this. We've eaten at every single restaurant multiple times, and we've created a series of Disney World dining guides, which you can get all of for just one price. And that nips this overwhelming Disney World planning issue in the bud because we've done it for you. Once again, we're going to make it fun. Not only will you be able to learn about all the Disney World restaurants with just a tap of your finger, but we've also got some fun additional features throughout this guide, like food and drink crawls and scavenger hunts too. If you want to pick up a guide for yourself today, head over to the dfbstore.com. After this, make sure to type in code YouTube for extra savings on your total purchase. And remember, these guides are 100% money back guaranteed. If you don't like it, if they're not right for you, that's absolutely fine. We get it. Just let us know and we'll get you your money back. Disney doesn't ignore you when a crisis appears. So life happens, even on vacation. You could experience a medical episode, or your car could break down, or a major storm could strike the area, or you could lose your wallet with your credit cards and ID and cash. And that's not to bombard you with anxiety before you head to vacation, because hopefully none of this is going to happen. But it's comforting to know that when a crisis does happen while you're inside the Disney World bubble, which, by the way, every single one of those I have been in Disney World and have happened to me, Disney is not going to leave you high and dry. They're going to do what they need to do to help you out. On the medical side of things, Disney has first aid services in each of their parks that provide non-emergency relief for free. But even if an emergency strikes and 911 has to be called, Advent Health, which is the healthcare provider that partners with Disney, has an ER near Disney World and Flamingo Crossings near to Animal Kingdom. And guess what? it's a Disney-themed hospital at that. So you'll be given excellent care inside a hospital that can help soothe your spirit in times when fear and tension are at an all-time high. If you're sick and can't get out of your hotel bed because the flu can strike at any time, anywhere, Advent Health also has virtual healthcare options that all Disney guests can access straight through your My Disney Experience app. Just tap on the 3 bars at the bottom and scroll down till you see the accessibility and health services option. From here, you'll be led to Advent Health's main portal page. If you're in need of a prescription or a prescription refill, you can give Advent Health a call and see what arrangements can be made to get your needed prescriptions delivered to your pharmacy of choice or straight to your Disney World hotel. And something that I have used and I think is really incredible is that you can also get your prescriptions delivered straight to the theme parks. If you need antibiotics or allergy medication or some other prescription on the day of your park visit, Advent Health can have those orders delivered to a spot that's most convenient for you, like one of Disney's first aid centers, for instance. My son was really struggling with his asthma when I was there one year. I took him to a doctor and they gave us a prescription that we actually had delivered right to Epcot's first aid center, and I could go pick it up after dinner. Unbelievably useful. Advent Health's phone number, as listed on the site, is 407-939-7480, and their care concierge service is open daily from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern. So wait, how is Disney supposed to help you if you're dealing with a non-medical related emergency like car issues? Well, conveniently enough, Disney has a car care center on property, which isn't too terribly far away from the Magic Kingdom, like just across from the Speedway gas station. The car care center offers roadside assistance for cars in need of tow, extra fuel, maybe even a jump start, and of course for emergency tire changes. In the case that these mechanical issues aren't going to be such a quick fix, you may need to keep your vehicle at the car care center overnight. And if that's the case, you can rent out a temporary car here too. The phone number for the car care service is 407-824-0976, but you can also book an appointment online through the Disney World Car Care Services webpage. Meanwhile, if you lose something on Disney property, like your wallet, your keys, your phone, maybe your ID, like I did at Via Napoli once, right before I had to get on an airplane, Disney will be on the case. You can head over to Disney's Guest Relations building, located in each of their parks, for assistance, or you can get a head start on the hunt by submitting your missing items claim immediately to what Disney uses as their lost and found, called chargerback.com, which is what they use to alert security and cast members about what they need to be on the lookout for while making their rounds throughout the park. Chargerback's going to ask you a few questions about your missing item. Then, once you submit your request for a search mission, cast members will be on the lookout for you, even when you're not in the park. They'll keep you updated with text messages and emails, and they'll continue to search for your item. And if they are able to find it for you, Disney will usually mail it back to you free of charge. That gets me every time, that they will mail that stuff back to you free. You don't even have to pay for it, even though you're the one that made the mistake and lost it. I love that because you guys know I left a whole bunch of clothes in a hotel room once. I had to leave at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was exhausted, bleary-eyed. I'd been, working till 1 o'clock in the morning. I was so tired, and I left all my clothes in the closet. And they, sure enough, found them and they mailed them back to me. I used the chargerback system. It was great because a lot of that stuff was irreplaceable. They don't sell it anymore. So I was pretty happy. But what if your ability to get home depends on finding that lost wallet because that's where your ID is? Sounds familiar. It may be a bit of a hassle, but Guest Relations can also help you file a report with Orange County, which will hook you up with an official legal document that can get you back onto your plane. And as far as those major storms are concerned, that's when Disney's Ride Out crew comes to the rescue. When hired on, cast members have the option to volunteer for these types of emergency situations, meaning they can sign up to work and ride out the storm along with the guests. That also means Ride Out crew members are in it for the long haul. During the hurricane, cast members will be working super long hours and will have to stay on property for the entirety of the storm. But don't worry, Disney does make sure the Ride Out crew is well taken care of while they're on duty by hooking them up with meals and shelter on site. And this is just a small sliver of the types of services Disney can offer when life hits you hard in the middle of what was supposed to be a magical vacation. Disney is a major corporation, but it's a corporation filled with people who care about your health and safety. They're not going to leave you high and dry. Don't you worry about that. So the title of this point is that it gives you the chance to be yourself. Now, when I was writing my Disney Adults book, that's the book that comes out in August, I interviewed a lot of longtime Disney World fans. And when I asked those folks what made them keep coming back to the parks after all these years, despite the expense, despite all the things they may disagree with, a lot of those answers, in a way, overlapped. The Disney fans that I interviewed mentioned how once they crossed the threshold of the Disney bubble, people were genuinely kind to them, and they felt like they were cared about. They didn't feel judged the way that they sometimes did in real life. and they felt, this is the key word, valued. It was also an escape. Back home, things could feel heavy at work or with relationships or just the constant doom scroll. But in Disney, their biggest problems boiled down to things like, should we watch the fireworks or should we ditch them to hit up another ride? Now, of course, this doesn't mean everyone you're going to come across in Disney will be sunshine and roses. Everybody has a bad day. But I find myself generally agreeing with these longtime Disney fans, as a fellow longtime Disney fan myself. I've been in the parks at all different times of my life. I've been in the parks when I've been scared or anxious about a situation going on back home. I've been scared or anxious about a health situation. I've been scared or anxious about a situation with my kid. I've been sad about something that happened. I've been guilty about something that happened. But there is a shift that happens here. Everyone's in the same boat with the same goal in mind. We just want to have a good time. A trip to Disney is an excuse to be unapologetically you, where you get to wear the glitterific mini ears, you get to sob happy tears during Happily Ever After if that's your thing, or you just get to sit back and relax and maybe people watch or just be away from everything for a little bit. And there's something to be said for escaping the anxieties and the stresses and the judgments of real life every once in a while. It never feels great to hear about your favorite TV stars or red carpet celebrities being part of the latest Hollywood scandal or being passionate about something you deeply disagree with. In fact, it can be downright disheartening. But when you go to Disney World to meet your favorite Disney characters, you will walk away with a full heart and a head full of memories. Disney's characters are specifically trained to interact with all types of guests. Characters will meet you or your kid at your comfort level. They'll walk up to escort you to the photo pass area. They'll give you space if you're feeling overwhelmed, and they'll lead the conversation if you don't know what to ask or say. They're even going to give you a hug if it looks like you probably need one. Or for those non-speaking characters, a nearby character attendant can help be your middleman for a nice little chit-chat. Some characters even know sign language to connect with kids and adults who maybe don't always feel the most included when it comes to character interactions. You might have also heard about the character hug rule while scrolling through social media, which is the idea that Disney characters will continue to hug until the guest decides to pull away. Though this isn't an official Disney rule, a lot of characters still abide by it, because when a 2-year-old dressed as her hero Minnie Mouse finally gets to meet Minnie Mouse for the first time, a little extra snuggling might be in order. The characters are just another way that Disney further pulls you into the immersiveness of their parks, making it all the more real and sometimes even on an emotional level. Disney World is huge, y'all. It's massive, ginormous even. It's literally the size of 2 Manhattan Islands. So when you come here, it's not like you do a lap around a park and you've accomplished the whole thing. Disney World is literally its own world. It's bigger and completely different from any theme park you've ever been to. Bria's got a story that I think a lot of us have experienced in some way or another.
AJ, this reminds me of when I first started dating my now husband, Ethan. He would make fun of me every time my family and I would pile in the car for the summer to go on another vacation to Disney World. You went there last year, he'd say. Why are you going again? Truth was, Disney World was always a surefire winner for my family. And while we considered going other places, and hey, some years we did go other places, we'd always eventually circle back to Disney because there was always something new going on, and different must-dos got added to our list as we got older. When Ethan and I had been dating for about 4 years, he surprised me by joining my family on a Disney World vacation. No, like literally, he just showed up while we were chowing down at Earl of Sandwich. It was wild and I loved it. And let me just say, after his Disney trip with us, he's never made fun of me for repeat Disney trips, because now he gets it. There really is something new going on every time you go, and it's quite impossible to see everything in a single visit.
Yep, totally. 100% agree. My last Disney World trip focused on riding a brand new ride that I'd never ridden before because it was brand new to the parks. But the trip before that was all about being there with my mom and exploring what she really wanted to try. So if you're looking for a vacation destination that's not going to be boring after just one visit, that your travel group will come to rely on time and time again for unique and family-friendly entertainment, this is it. Disney World could be your place. All right, one of the most common misconceptions about Disney is that it's just for kids. And don't get me wrong, a lot of it is kid catered. But when Walt Disney originally came up with the idea of Disneyland, he wanted to create a place where all, meaning all, who came to this happy place were welcome. In fact, Disney has been quoted as saying, if you only aim for kids, you're dead, which means you've got to basically entertain the adults that are bringing the kids. And that same mentality bleeds over to Disney World and all the other Disney parks around the globe too. You want thrills? You got them. You want dark rides? They're there. You want shows that make you bawl your eyes out? Here you go. You want to fly over the Eiffel Tower? By golly, what are you waiting for? Let's go to Epcot. But Disney's not just a park for all ages, it's a park for all ability levels too. Disney works alongside guests to accommodate different disabilities and or people who are super sensors and can easily get overwhelmed by all the noise and action. Hi, that's me. I'm probably a super sensor. Now you can learn more about Disney's different accommodation services over on their website, but just to name a few of the things that they're able to do. Disney's got several rides that can accommodate wheelchairs or that have separate queues for wheelchairs to make boarding one of the attractions easier. They provide relief areas for service animals like dogs and, surprisingly enough, mini horses. Several of the live action performances have specific sign language interpretation show times, and Disney provides braille guides and maps for those who are blind or have low vision. Disney really is a park for everybody, and all are still welcome, just as Walt intended. All right, let's talk crowds. I know you've probably heard Disney World is so crowded and getting more crowded, and it's just a hassle. And when you go there, it's just stressful. You've seen it. I've seen it. We've all seen it. Disney World's crowds can get massive. We're talking shoulder to shoulder people, long lines, packed transportation, the whole 9 yards. And you're in the middle of basically like 95-degree, 100% humidity weather. Not fun. The worst you're going to see Disney's crowds get will be during those high traffic times like spring break and 4th of July, Memorial Day, Thanksgiving week, winter break, New Year's Eve to New Year's Day, that kind of time frame. When you're scrolling on social media and you see a video pop up of the wildly outrageous crowds happening in Disney, it's usually going to be from spring break, mid-March, or right after Christmas. Maybe it's going to be during a super busy 3-day weekend like President's Day or Labor Day. Disney isn't normally so packed out that you feel like a sardine unable to move. It does happen. Sometimes it happens in certain areas of a park and not in others. Now, even during Disney's predicted lower crowd level seasons, you might still find yourself going, gee, it's a little too people-y around this park for my liking. That being said, whether you're still going to Disney World in the winter, spring, summer, or fall, you can still have a great time crowded or not. We got a whole video out now about how you can skip the lines around Disney by using both paid and free strategies. So I'll refrain from talking about that now and let you check out that video after this. But let me talk about some of the less ride-motivated ways to have a good time in Disney World when working around the crowds, because I get it. I am not a crowd person. I do not like to be the life of the party. I do not like to be in the middle of a bunch of folks. It just, freaks me out, and I have huge anxiety about it. So these are some things that I do and some folks on our team do as well. For Epcot, this park can get so crowded on the first and last days of festivals. So your best chance of experiencing an Epcot Fest without having to wait a solid 15 to 20 minutes for every food booth is to try visiting toward the middle of things, like the middle of the festival and the middle of the week. Aside from the festivals, Epcot has a nice space layout that makes it easy to move around and go somewhere else if one area feels a little more crowded than another. For example, because it's mostly indoors, the Mexico Pavilion can see crowd spikes at random times throughout the year. But if you go deeper into the World Showcase Pavilion, you can still find little pockets of peace in sections like the Shanghai Disneyland exhibit in the China Pavilion, the American Adventure Gallery, or literally the entirety of the Morocco Pavilion. For Animal Kingdom, this park tends to be pretty chill crowd level-wise the majority of the year, though it still has its times where it'll see park attendance numbers skyrocket. If you're visiting on a particularly busy Animal Kingdom day, I can't talk highly enough about the animal trails like Maharaja Jungle Trek and the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail, which tend to give you a lot of space to walk around and see the animals that call the park home. Now, of course, right now, Maharaja Jungle Trail has its brand new little baby tiger. His name is Baxo, which means meatball, and he's incredibly adorable. So the lines for that particular location are a little hefty at the moment. So if you're going soon, then may I suggest the Tree of Life trails that wind all around the Tree of Life. A lot of people don't know they're there, and they don't even know how to get there. So search that out on your map and head over there, and you will rarely see too many people up there because, again, they don't know about it. For Hollywood Studios, this is one of those parks where the layout feels a little more enclosed and claustrophobic at times. But areas like the Walt Disney Presents Self-Guided Tour, Star Wars Launch Bay, and even around the front of the Grauman's Chinese Theater replica, if you want to snap some pictures, are usually more open and give you some space to breathe while still experiencing stuff that's quintessentially Hollywood Studios. And don't feel like you have to stay in a Disney park if the afternoon crowds are feeling way too much to handle everywhere. I know you paid for a ticket for that park day, but if your group is experiencing some major crowd fatigue, it does wonders to just hop on the Skyliner, head over to one of the resorts, and just chill in one of their beachside hammocks or eat a quiet meal or take part in one of the resort activities. It's the best reset, and it gives those park crowds some time to die down a bit too. And for Magic Kingdom, this more than likely will be the busiest park you'll visit during your vacation, but don't ignore those little side attractions like the Enchanted Tiki Room and Carousel of Progress if you need a little escape from the masses, but you also want to watch a cute show inside the AC. Magic Kingdom also has the monorail at your disposal, so just like Hollywood Studios, if things are getting a little too hectic for you, hop on board the monorail and take a quick trip over to the Grand Floridian or the Contemporary or Polynesian Village, or all three, for a much needed vacation away from your vacation. Disney magic is still alive and well, y'all. For those of you asking, is the magic gone? You feel it when the music swells during Magic Kingdom's fireworks, and you feel it when you see Spaceship Earth all lit up at night. You feel it when you're looking out across Pandora on the back of your own Banshee, and you feel it when Mickey faces Maleficent during Fantasmic and says, "This is my dream." So Disney magic is just as immersive as ever. It may look different from when you were a kid, and it may cost a whole lot more, but it is still there. But don't just take my word for it. Not too long ago, we took to Facebook and asked you to share some of your favorite nostalgic and cute and wholesome magical moments, and y'all blew our expectations out of the water. It was like the most fun I've had in reading internet comments, which aren't always the most fun. You know that too well, I'm sure. I got to read about kids whose favorite characters took them by the hand and walked them from one area of the park to another. And then I got to remember when Belle did that with my little boy in Epcot, and that was just like too much to bear. And how some of y'all timed your ride-throughs on attractions like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Magic Kingdom just right so that you could see the fireworks going off during your ride. Well done. Then there were stories about parents who got to witness a lot of their kids' firsts during their park visits, like their first ever roller coaster, their first steps, their first haircut over at the Harmony Barbershop. Some kids actually even start talking and walking when they're in Disney World because of the overstimulation that's going on in their brains. Some of my favorite stories you sent in directly involve Disney's awesome cast members who are truly the heart and the soul of these parks. You guys talked about cast members who made sure those surprise engagement photos were captured, or who pulled out an extremely rare pin to put on their pin trading board just for you to trade with, or who brought out a free dessert at the restaurant to help you celebrate a 20-year anniversary. All of that is still happening. Disney World isn't just an amusement park where you get in line for rides and eat a few corn dogs, though that still sounds like a pretty good day to me. It's an experience, and the memories made here are memories for life. And don't forget, you're in charge of those memories. Not Disney, it's you. So if you do spend the money, if you do decide to go, don't forget to sit back a little bit, relax, and enjoy the people that you're with, because that's really where those memories come from. All right, so speaking of expenses, that's probably the biggest thing that people think about right now when they think about, should we go to Disney World? And 1000%, I think that's the right thing to think about. It is getting more and more and more expensive to go. Disney World's price tags are very hard to ignore, and I totally understand anyone who's bitter about paying $40 for a pair of mini ears. It is wild. Not to mention, there are so many times that you might see someone post about something cool that you can do in Disney, but when you go to check on that cool thing, the price tag is like triple or quadruple digit dollar signs. It doesn't take long for families to start believing they've been outpriced from the parks, especially when you see how several food and merch items, even tickets, have increased way above inflation. If you got this ache for just wanting to see your little one hug Mickey Mouse, or you just wish you could take this cute family photo in front of Cinderella Castle, or you just want to watch a Disney fireworks show, if only to mark it off your bucket list, it's not impossible to do. There may need to be some sacrifices made, and yep, you might not be able to purchase every bougie add-on Disney tries to upsell to you, but wipe the slate clean about what you know when it comes to Disney's prices for a second. Clear your mind and let's work through this. First off, keep in mind that you're booking a vacation package, which bundles hotel and park ticket prices. You can pace out those payments however you see fit, so even if you were to book a vacation package a year out, a year and a half out, you can pay on it little by little instead of stressing about paying thousands all at once. There is no payment plan for a vacation package. Disney just wants you to have the whole thing paid in full before you're 30 days away from your trip. So all you have to do is pay the deposit and make sure everything else is paid off before that 30-day mark. If you pay for park tickets only, yep, you will have to pay the full amount for them at the time of purchase. However, you don't have to get tickets for all the parks. You can book them for 1 or 2 parks if that works with your budget better. You also don't have to include any park hoppers or memory maker or other additional ticket plus ups if you're looking for the bare basic price point. And since Disney has ticket prices that fluctuate based on the season, you can look at the price ticket calendar ahead of time and find a price point that works best for your budget. If you want extra savings, which of course you do, Disney constantly runs promotional deals on tickets and hotel rooms over on their special offers pages. So you rarely ever have to worry about paying full price for your future stay. In fact, I usually say don't ever pay full price, especially for your hotel. And even if Disney's value hotel rooms are still looking a little too steep for your liking, you're still more than welcome to book a nearby Good Neighbor hotel or Airbnb, or just a cheaper hotel that might not give you all the bells and whistles, but will give you a reliable place to stay in Orlando for an affordable price. I didn't stay in Disney World owned hotels for years and years when I first started going to Disney World. There was no need to. I was just going to spend all day in the park, so why would I spend all that money on a hotel? And if you can travel with other adults who are willing to split the bill with you on a place, even better. Now, inside the parks, while the food and snacks might be tempting you, you never have to pay more for food than you want to. In fact, you don't have to pay for food at all. Hard mic drop right there. I can't tell you how many times I see families having these nice little picnics in the park with groceries that they got from a store near the hotel or that they had delivered to them via grocery delivery apps like that Kroger delivery I always talk about. You could have sandwiches, little veggie sticks, goldfish crackers, charcuterie fixins, you name it, and never spend a dime at a Disney restaurant if you don't want to. And as far as souvenirs go, yeah, you don't have to buy any of those. Purchasing a Disney souvenir is fun, but Disney has several places where you can pick up free items to take home with you, like celebration buttons. Those are available at hotel lobbies and theme park guest services locations. Character autographs, you can add those to a plain ball cap or t-shirt or notebook that you brought from home. Kid Cop postcards are available at each of the World Showcase pavilions. Transportation cards, just ask the bus drivers and boat captains and monorail pilots to see if they've got some on hand. Pirates map and cards from Magic Kingdom's Treasures of the Seven Seas scavenger hunt, that's a blast, and it's basically a memory right there if you take some time with your family to do that scavenger hunt. You can get Explorers badges for the Wilderness Explorers experience at Animal Kingdom, and Epcot Festival passports, which normally come with free stickers too. I could keep going, but I'm gonna stop there because we got more to talk about today. Now, if I'm being real with y'all, some of my best days in Disney World haven't even happened inside the parks. I've had plenty of full and satisfying Disney World days just exploring the resorts in Disney Springs shopping district. No theme park tickets necessary. What I'm trying to say here is that upon first impression, Disney World totally looks like a financial burden in the making, but it does not have to be. It just takes a little tweaking and fat trimming and number crunching to finally come up with a price tag that might actually make you go, yeah, I think we can make this happen. And speaking of those widespread stereotypes, Disney's not as complicated to plan as you might think. Number crunching, I might have already lost you there. I get you. My scriptwriter Bria and I always have this back and forth when it comes to number sections on scripts, because she'll be like, check my math. And I'll be like, you want me to check your math? And then she'll be like, it's better than me checking my own math. Safe to say, we are both words people, not really numbers people. So I'm glad we got numbers people on our team to help us both when we run out of fingers to count on. But I digress. Planning the technical parts of a Disney World vacation can be extremely intimidating. Yes, budget-wise, of course, but there's also the matter of Disney changing its mind about other things pretty constantly. We regularly receive updated rules about Disney's Lightning Lanes, aka their pay-to-skip-the-ride line service. Virtual queues for new and popular attractions, just got one of those today. Restaurant reservations, resort theme park perks, all of it. It's really enough to muddle your brain and make you want to throw in the towel. We do this every single day, and we're still like, wait a minute, what just happened? We've been in the same place that you think you might be, where we're just like, forget this, I'm supposed to be on vacation. Why am I studying for a 10-page exam? This is one of those instances where I'm going to tell you that once you're there and on Disney property, things start to make more sense. I especially feel this way about Disney's Lightning Lanes because when we talk about them on this channel, I know there's enough information to fill a 20-minute video with. However, what they really boil down to is choose the rides you want to skip the line for, and if you're using MultiPass, then choose another ride you want to skip the line for after you use the first one. That's as basic as I can describe it for you, and once you've studied up on the details of these services, the rest really start to fall into place when you get there, I promise. So here's the truth and nothing but. Planning a Disney trip does take a bit of studying on your end. You really can't just show up to the parks without having done any pre-planning, or you'll be setting yourself up for failure. But the best part is ignorance is blind. Maybe you don't even know that you're missing stuff. That can be great and that can be fun too. But that's honestly the case with most vacations. Even easygoing trips to the beach still require some research and pre-planning when it comes to finding the best Airbnbs with an ocean view, or which coffee shops are going to be open earliest, or if there are any weekend festivals that might be happening in the downtown area during your visit. So while planning a Disney World trip might not be as easy as planning a simple beach vacay, it's still often an easier beast to tackle versus a lot of other vacation types. It's amazing to go to Europe or Japan or Africa, and I love taking those trips if I can manage it, but they can can be hard work too when it comes to figuring out the transportation system in a different language, finding a reliable yet affordable hotel, taking a chance at restaurants where you can't read the menu, learning how the toilets work or if you need to pay for them. Not to mention, culture shock is a real thing too. Again, I love breaking away from the Disney bubble to explore new far-off places I've never been before. But when my son was just a little guy, going to Disney World for a family vacation was a flat-out easier feat for my family to accomplish. Judge me if you will, but sometimes you just need to take the vacation easy road. And when you've done a Disney World trip before, it gets a whole lot easier with each visit. That being said, pre-planning a Disney World trip as a first-time guest doesn't have to feel unconquerable either. Actually, it can be really fun. That's why we do what we do on this channel. We want to show you all the different possibilities for your Disney World trip, but ultimately, we trust you'll make the best decisions for you and your group in the end. So how can you keep from being completely overwhelmed when you're in the Disney World planning trenches? Lucky for you, we got a couple of free resources that are going to help take that weight off your shoulders. Reach out to a reliable travel agent if you want to plan a Disney World trip, but you don't want to get bogged down with all the discount searches and reservations and lightning lane selections and what have you. Let someone else do all the technical stuff so you can spend more time pre-planning the fun things like your outfits and your restaurants. Our friends at Small World Vacations can help you plan your dream Disney World vacation, and they'll do it at no extra cost. We'll add their link down in the description just in case you want to reach out for a free quote. And you can use our planning worksheets. Our awesome DFB members, who are way better at organizing numbers than Bria and me combined, have restructured our free planning worksheets to create a guide that not only gives you a place to freely budget and keep track of purchases, but also your must-do experiences and your reservations. And they also show you the timeline for when things need to be planned in advance. Insider pro advice, packing lists, so many budgeting tips. These are seriously helpful. If you want to download these completely free right now, scan the QR code you see on the screen, or if you're watching this on your phone, head to disneyfoodblog.com/disneyplans. Now, I know this video kind of sounds like an ad, and we were a little bit worried about that before we made it, but it's not an ad. It's genuinely letting people know when they're hearing so many negative things about Disney World right now and so much complaining, that there is still magic there, that it is still fun, that it is still a blast to take your family there and enjoy it, and that you really can go at just about any budget. You can make it happen if it's something that you want to do. If not, if this is your year for a cruise, or this is your year for a staycation, or this is your year to, backpack around Europe, that's awesome. Please go do that stuff. It is incredible and amazing, and you're going to make just as many memories there. But if you're thinking about putting a pin in a Disney vacation just because you think you'll get judged at work because of it, or that you should just spend the money on something more cultural or whatever for your family, which maybe you should, that's up to you. I'm just here to tell you 1000% there's still a lot of great memories to be made. If you choose Disney World, it's not going to be as difficult as you think. It's probably not going to be as expensive as you think. At least it doesn't have to be. And just wanted to be honest with you on that stuff when I know there are a lot of stories going around. So again, not an ad, just me kind of doing a video to let you know that things are still pretty great at Disney World and getting better in terms of the things that they're building and the things that they're going to be bringing in soon. So it's an exciting place. And if you want to go, you should absolutely go. Don't listen to everybody that's telling you not to go. If this is your bucket list or this is your dream, go for it. And no, Disney World might not be the perfect place, but it can still make for a perfect vacation. And we want to help you make that happen. Stay tuned to more DFB videos to come. And don't forget to pick up those free Disney World planning worksheets over at disneyfoodblog.com/disneyplans. Thanks for listening, everyone. And thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.